What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Corporate Bartender. On this show, we talk with a lot of authors, speakers, coaches, and subject matter experts about the people side of business. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk to an amazing leader that actually uses the services our guests provide. We're calling this The Other Side of the Bar. We've got Haris Shawl on the program today. Haris is a client of ours, and he's a phenomenal leader. He's the VP of Cyber Product Management at Capital One. Haris strives to be a noble purpose leader and coach. He's self-aware. He knows how to leverage coaching and leadership development, and he refers to me and Ruby as his woobie. We do need to mention that the opinions expressed here on the show are his own and not those of any organization. It's a thing I say a lot these days, but man, this conversation is one of my favorites of 2025. We covered a lot of ground, shared some stories, and I just know you're going to dig it. So buckle up, TC Beers, grab your favorite cocktail, and let's get right on into it with Haris Shawl on today's TCB, The Other Side of the Bar.
Welcome to Sky Team's The Corporate Bartender, where we gather some of the best HR and people leaders to discuss what's happening on the people side of business. Now pull up a stool, belly up to the bar, and join us for The Corporate Bartender.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. It is your favorite day and mine. It is Corporate Bartender Day. It is the 27th of August, 2025. And this is the 231st time that we have gathered this group of awesome people and saddled up this horse for yet another rodeo. Ruby, it's the end of August. And as we were talking in the pre-show, it is officially pumpkin spice season.
Yes. I have an orange shirt on today for no good reason.
We've been counting down the days to pumpkin spice season since January. And you know what else that means, Ruby? It is almost Christmas time. I actually purchased some Christmas gifts from the Amazons just the other day.
All right.
Because my objective this year is to not be shopping on December 24th.
Good call.
Which has been my pattern for a long time.
Like, where are you going?
I got things to do. I didn't know what to get everybody. Today is going to be a fun day. This is a slight twist on what we typically do here at the Bartender. I call it the other side of the bar. Actually, Haris and I call it the other side of the bar because we had a conversation about this a couple of weeks ago, month ago, and we thought, what a cool idea. We spend a lot of time talking to coaches, authors, speakers, facilitators, subject matter experts, and we don't ever talk to people who consume said services. And today, that's what we're going to do. We're going on the other side of the bar, and we're going to talk to a leader who is an avid consumer of coaching and development services. And we're going to talk about his journey, how he's incorporated them into his leadership style and his leadership journey. So we're going to get into all of that. His name is Haris Shawl, and he is a vice president over there at Capital One. He's the vice president of Cyber Product Management at Capital One. And full disclosure, Haris is a client of ours, and we're part of that journey. So we're going to talk about the impacts of him hanging out with me and Ruby and the good, the bad, and the ugly of what goes on there. But before we get into that conversation, just a little housekeeping, because we got dark days ahead, as in the theater shall be dark, but for good reasons, because for most of the month of September, Ruby and I will be in places wide and varied. We're going to be in Tucson. We're going to be in Boston, and we're going to be somewhere else. I don't even know where else we're going to be.
Maybe.
We're going to be in all those places. What did you say? Fresno?
Charlottesville.
Charlottesville. Yes, I was like, I'd love to go to Fresno.
Let's go.
In my mouth?
I know.
Thanks. Lori knows because we have this giant calendar in our kitchen that in the inside of the pantry door that has where everybody's going to be. And September is like a big green line. Eric's gone all the time. So we'll be back on the 24th of September with a guest, and that's going to be a lot of fun. But today, as we like to say, is all about Haris. As I said, he's the VP of Cyber Product Management at Capital One. He's worked in cybersecurity for companies like Comcast. He's done time with the Big Four, and if you're in the DC area, Booz Allen Hamilton, where he's worked in counterterrorism, counterintelligence, cyber threat analysis. He's got some wacky stories from those days that maybe we'll get into. We'll see. He's had a 20-ish year journey, and he's kind of been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. As I mentioned, he's a client, he's a friend, and he's a pretty amazing dude. So we're going to do things a little bit different today. We're going to turn the tables and talk to someone on the other side of the bar. He's going to share his leadership journey and what it's been like to have executive and team coaching along the way. What was the impact? How did it feel? And why he thinks learning, growth, self-development, and team development is a big deal. So as he is an avid listener of the show, he knows the drill. Let's give him a warm TCB welcome, shall we? And Haris, you know I let the music play until you dance.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's see a dance.
That's
Hey, hands in the air.
I was thinking about how I was going to dance about this, but I decided to keep it, the beat the beat.
That's
what
right.
I went with.
That's
I went
right.
with beat the beat. Yep.
Classic choice. Classic choice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, Haris, thanks for being with us today. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, guys. And that is a hell of an introduction. At some point, Eric, I was like, who is he talking about? Like, who's that guy? But yeah, thank you so much. Like this is quite an introduction. Sometimes it is a little bit weird for me to like hear that because I am so like, well, what's coming next? What's in the future? Like, when I look back, that is kind of cool.
Yeah,
So
you did all that.
and there's a lot of like I said, a lot of crazy stories and t-shirts and some things which like maybe you need a clearance for, like we could go through and discuss that on an off hour here and there. But I think what is there's a common through line in all of these career segments or in these career components is the way that I think about it. And so I recently went through some additional coaching, and one of the things that they added, they said, like, give us an intro slide about yourself. And what I described was that I had 3 careers so far. And that was the one tagline I left. And then everyone, or just about everyone in the coaching program, came up and they're like, so what are the 3? Like, you got to tell us more. And so it was a very valuable,
Can't leave us hanging.
Exactly. It was a good little breadcrumb that like started a great conversation with a bunch of the folks in the program. And I have to say, like, everybody in that program I count as friends. And the coach is really awesome there too. Is a guy named David Martin. Really, really awesome facilitator, really brings a lot of stuff together. So I've had experiences obviously with you guys and Sky Team, which have been phenomenal, and others too. And like, I would say it's almost like I visited many bars. It's probably the way to think about it. I had a bunch of bartenders, and like I'm like I'm better off for it, or like I'm stumbling drunk, one of the two. So take the analogy maybe a little too far, but yeah, I think like all of them have helped me understand like my leadership voice, and like actually kind of helped me refine my origin story. So
nice.
But it did start in large part with the Sky Team. And I think back to like a number of years ago when we first had the program, and there was a drawing that I think you guys asked us to do, right? And this drawing was really cool because it was like, tell your career story, but just in pictures, like don't write anything down, right? And I think that was really powerful because like you have to be very selective in like your imagery and like what you want to try to do. And I'm a horrible artist. Like my daughter will tell you, like she actually is able to draw better than I am, and she's 4. And so like I did my best and like kind of carved out like it was a very crappy looking building. Okay, that was government time, and there was like a dollar sign, which is consulting, right? And then there was like a cybersecurity, which is like the bits and pieces about like what I do now, right? And for industry and actually for companies, which is really the thing that's I'm super satisfied with right now. So that's kind of like where the 3 parts of the career journey come from. But what I always, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, let's go way back. Like when you were little, what did you want to do? What did you envision for yourself as you grew up, and how did you end up here?
Yeah. So there are a couple of major milestones. Like when I was a kid, my dad got me a computer. And what do kids do when they get expensive, shiny new things? They break them.
They break them.
Yeah.
They break them.
And then you had to fix it, I guess, huh?
Exactly. And then I learned like, oh man, this is kind of cool. Like there's a whole bunch of complexity in here and like weird stuff. And if you like, push this button here, if you connect this, like something happens. And so I kind of got into that just, by happenstance. And so he got me a really nice compact Presario. It was a beautiful desk piece and everything like that. Everything was good. I broke it. I repaired it, got it back online, mostly because I got yelled at because it was a family computer.
It's a lot of money, Haris.
And it was the family computer. They're like, we got to use it too. And like, we got to get it online. Like, what did you do with this? And so I was like, I'm just messing with it. Yeah. Back then, like, not everybody had their own computer. So
yes, there was the one computer in like the living room that everybody shared.
Which is such a strange place.
If you were lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a strange place, but that's where things were back then. And so I got into that, and that was just something fascinating for me. And then, like on the flip side, in school, I really enjoyed the social sciences. Like I liked history, I liked politics, I liked law, and so it was a very like different type of a part of my brain that I brought into school. And like this was the stuff I used to mess around with at home, and like I kind of took like personal interest in. So I thought nothing of it, to be honest with you, right? I think where things got a little bit crazy, and a lot of folks in cyber have this too. We got AOL at the time because that was a big thing. So we got the dial-up and whatnot.
Because everybody got a CD at 7-Eleven. They were at the check stand.
Or no, they got it mailed. Yeah, they got it mailed to you, and like everyone was talking about it. So I got online, which is where things really went sideways, I guess you could say. And I got into this program called, and like this is showing my age a little bit, but it's cool. Like it's called IRC, Internet Relay Chat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got into IRC and I joined like all these channels, and like looking back on it now as a parent, I realized there was significant danger and things that I was exposed to that I should not have been exposed to. So,
right. And your parents had no idea because they had no idea what it was.
None. Yeah. So we are wiser for it now, thank goodness. And like my daughter will not have her own device for a long time. And when she does, like it will be tightly monitored.
Well, any daughter whose dad is a cybersecurity guy, she's in trouble.
Sorry.
Whatever she's gonna try, it's not gonna work. So I got into IRC. Like I just saw a lot of the scripts and the bots and like people sharing like tips and tricks on like hacking and like that whole subculture, which is really interesting. And I remember reading something. It was so tacky when I look back on it now, but it was so powerful. It was the Hacker Manifesto.
Okay.
And around this time, there were a bunch of movies that came out in this. So it was in popular culture, which is really cool. And so there's a really classic movie from like Angelina Jolie's time. And I'm trying to think, there were some other folks in it too, none of which became like big actors, but it was a movie called Hackers. And like that was the first like real kind of like Hollywood expose on this like really strange subculture. And I saw that movie after watching like IRC and like reading this manifesto, because the movie came up before like I really got into it, before I was old enough. And so that like cemented something in me. I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool, weird, interesting subculture. So like I thought it was just that. I didn't think anything of it as like a professional kind of focus. And so
you were just going to be a spare time hacker.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was just going to do this on the nights and weekends for giggles. And so I think where I went was where my actual academic passions were, which is around like history and law and political science and social sciences. So I thought I was going to be a lawyer. Like that's kind of what I was aiming for. So I thought like, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Like not a problem. I can do that. And then around that time, like I was in high school, the 9/11 attacks happened. And that was like a really seminal moment because like I remember sitting, like we got interrupted in our class and we had to like go sit in like an assembly room, and like we watched TV and like the attacks happening on TV, and they sent us home early. And like it was like a really like big trauma, right? The whole country experience. Like everyone remembers where they were at that time. And I remember feeling like both like shocked and angry and like wanting like vengeance and like wanting to like join the fight basically. So at that point I was like, I don't want to do law anymore. I want to go into government. I don't know what I want to do in government exactly, but I want to go into government. And so when I explored all the different things that you could do in government and, tried to focus a little bit here and there, I really centered in on intelligence and intelligence analysis. Like that was the thing that really like drove me and I got super passionate about. And I took some courses in college on it. And so I graduated and I said, like, I'm going to move down to the DC area and I'm going to do like internships ahead of that. And like, I'm going to figure out like how to crack and get into like the intelligence community. Because that's the thing that I really wanted to do. It related back and like, it was such a powerful thing from like the 9/11 attacks. I'm like, I got to help. This is the thing I got to do, right? It was kind of a call to service. And so I moved down here and it was a funny thing. Like I got a job fairly quickly with like one of the, what they call Beltway Bandits. It's one of the contracting companies that work in the Washington, D.C. area. And, like I started off doing some basic threat analysis here and there. And it was interesting. And like, that's when I started in like the counterterrorism and counterintelligence world. And so like I learned the discipline, right? I picked it up. Like at that time, there was no formal training in intelligence analysis. Like you would go join government as like a government employee or as a contractor. And then you would like do the trainings and kind of like, figure out how to do that and understand the discipline.
So
And
basically,
cool.
you were Jack Ryan at this point in your life.
Oh, I don't know about that. Like, I was in like a windowless office in Northern Virginia.
Hey, he was just
like
an analyst.
looking at data.
He was
I
just
was just
an
an analyst. I was just an analyst. Yeah, which is like all I wanted to be. Like I thought that was cool and that was fine. And that went on for a couple of years. And then what was interesting was that somebody saw on my resume in college, because I needed like pocket money and just money for snacks and just like spending money, like I actually was in the help desk. And that was the job I did like when I was in college because it's a super easy job. Like you're already on campus and like it's fine.
Did you turn
and,
it off and turn it back on again?
Pretty much. Yeah. So in IT and in help desk like settings, they call that the layer 8 problem.
Layer 8?
Layer 8 problem. And it's a joke and it's a play because there's this concept of the OSI model, which is like how you do like network stacks.
Yep.
And so it goes up to layer 7, right? And that's the layer 7 is the
This is
presentation
layer
layer.
8.
Layer 8 is the human. And so whatever it was one of those like, oh, like the person is not using the technology correctly, we're like, oh, it's a layer 8 issue. It's a layer 8 issue. Like everyone knows, like, and you would code it into like the case management, like, yes, layer 8 issue, like,
It's on the ticket.
yeah, like advise customer to plug the computer in.
No.
Literally like that. So I did that for a bunch of years in college and like I thought it was a lot of fun and it was easy money. And like I used to like, and back then there was no cyber, by the way, like it was IT and IT security. And so I used to like fix machines and like there would be like malware outbreaks because I can tell you there's one word to describe an IT, like a college IT network. It is cesspool. It is so gross. Anyone that has ever worked in university IT will tell you like students do the weirdest stuff with computers. And like back then, like BitTorrent was a big thing.
Oh, right.
And like people would stream like all kinds of files and stuff on like the local internet. And like they would be like sharing like pirated material, like ripped DVDs, like all this stuff. And like they'd be sharing like answers to like exams and stuff. And they would click on anything. And so like there would be so many like malware infections. And like we got hit so many times. And like you just continuously had to clean the environment up. And so it was a total cesspool. And so like it was interesting and fun. Like I got to do that work. And one of the things that I found that was interesting was like I ended up having what I realized later was like management acumen to be like, hey, this process is broken. Like we should fix this. And like what do you think? Like, should we try something to fix this? And people saw me exercise that. And then I very quickly rose to like a senior consultant role and then like a manager of the help desk center. And so by the time I was a senior, like I was running the largest help desk support like center on campus. And I had like grad students reporting to me, right? It was like kind of funny, like,
And
like,
you went to a decent sized school. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I went to Syracuse University. Yeah. And so like it just was something like, hey, we should fix this. Like there's a problem. Like let's just work on it. And so that I guess people just recognize that and they're like, yeah, give Haris this responsibility. Like
He'll fix it.
So But I honestly thought like this is a great way to earn some side money. I don't think this is a career at all.
Mm.
And then fast forward to like when I was in government and I was working counterintelligence and some of the counterterrorism work, and they put out a call. They're like, "Hey, we need people that know cyber, and your resume flagged because you have this background from college." And I'm like, "I don't know cyber. What are you talking about?" They're like, yeah, you know cyber. I'm like, no, I know IT and like I know like help desk and like fixing computers. They're like, yeah, that's called cyber now. That's what we call cyber now. Yeah. And I'm like, I was like, all right, guys, like whatever you need me to do, like I'll do the work. That's fine. So I ended up going over to FBI Cyber Division and I worked in a joint task force with a bunch of the interagency like different agencies across the government to really work on cyber threats, right? And to really look at them like holistically and tactically, like all the way down to like the malware, the payloads, and then the infrastructure that's used, all the way back to like the people that were behind it and the state-sponsored groups and the criminal groups. And like I did that for about 10 years. And
you busted some bad guys.
Yes, I did. And I helped. Yeah. Like there were people I helped pick up. Like, and to be clear, like I was never the one that broke the door down and like arrested the folks.
That's Jack Ryan's job. So
yeah. I was the person that like handed over the dossier to be like, so the person lives here. They like to visit this and this place. Like, here's what they've done. Like basically, like here's the roadmap on how you find the person and you arrest the person. And so, yeah, I had a number of notches on the belt, which is really at the time I thought very satisfying. And I did it maybe 4 or 5 times, like 6 times, and like went around the world, like. And it's so funny. I part of like my connection back to 9/11 was like I really wanted to be in like the war zones like Iraq and Afghanistan and like really like experience the suck and like deal with it and like really be there as like an authentic like, oh man, like I went there and I did that and that was hard and like, you know, in the danger zone kind of thing. And I was deployed and posted in operations throughout Europe. Like these were like vacation destinations.
Like nice places to go.
These were nice places. Like
Haris is battling terrorism from Rome this week. So
yeah. Like I felt like such a phony and a cheat. Like I spent so much time in the Netherlands and like I would like hang out at like restaurants, like talk to people. And I was like, man, I feel bad. Like some of my contemporaries are like driving down like IED infested roads. And like
you're also in a cafe in Amsterdam.
yeah. Like I feel terrible about this. So, like this kind of feels weird, but I'm still feeling like I'm doing something meaningful. So I continued that and did that for a bit. But then what's kind of crazy about that is even though like the adrenaline is like really high for the first couple times and like really exciting, it becomes like mowing the lawn after a while. And like it becomes really unsatisfying when you take down all these different groups and like you help make an impact or what you think is an impact. And then like 2-3 months later, like another group has popped up and like new infrastructures there and like new infections and new botnets. And so it was like, well, what is the purpose of this? Like,
yeah, it's never going away.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm spending my time and my energy. We are after these people and like, it's not actually making a dent. Right. It's not making a difference. And like the companies are still getting hacked and people are still losing money. Like this is not good. Like this is not the way to do it. So I went and did some strategic work. And I think the thing that's like the through line on this is that every time I encountered like this is not where I want to be. This is not good. I thought about it and said, what is the discipline that I need to learn to get to the next step? Right. And I want to say, discipline in this sense is not like the, hey, like, you know, rigid, like I wake up at 5 a.m. and do whatever. That's not the discipline. This is like the study of like a field or of an area, right? And that's what I mean by the word discipline. And so I was always curious to figure out like, what is the new thing I need to learn? What's the discipline that I must master to get to that next level or like to get to where I want to be, right? And so then I was doing a lot of tactical and operational intelligence. I did strategic intelligence for a little bit too. And that was like, you know, briefing senior policymakers, like writing case studies, that kind of thing. So I did that, got that T-shirt, briefed the director of national intelligence, National Security Council, like co-wrote multiple presidential daily briefs, which is like the pinnacle of like what an intelligence analyst dreams about, right? And I got to the very top of this Mount Everest of like of that community of that strategic intelligence discipline. And I looked down and was like, I am so disappointed with this view. Like everything I worked on for the next, you know, for what was 3 years at that point, like I got to that and was like, this is really unsatisfying. Like I gave them what I think they should do, how they should do it, and like what would be the impact of it. And they were like, meh, okay, maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't do it. And I'm like, that's it? That's all you got? And they're like, yeah, that's all we got. And that's when I realized, like, all right, time for a pivot.
I'm done.
Like, yeah, like have been there, done that, got that t-shirt, like mastered this discipline. This is not what I want to do with my life. And so then that was the second part of the career journey, which is then into consulting, right? And that's where like it was such a profit-driven perspective of like sell to the client, like make sure you're answering the client needs, like establish your bona fides and your credibility of like why the client should trust you, deliver some value, and then come back around and say like, great, sign the new SOW.
Yeah,
sign
bill
the next
those
one,
hours,
the next
baby.
one, the next one. Yeah, bill the hours, exactly. And it just felt so unnatural and transactional.
It's a good thing you didn't become a lawyer, because that's all that is too.
That's very true.
Every
Yeah, I would have been
15
disappointed.
Yes.
Unless I was like in-house legal, right? Like
Right.
that would have been the difference. And that's funny because actually that ended up where I am now, which is basically like in-house cyber, where like I don't have to worry about a timesheet. Like
Right.
billable hours, like it's that. Like, oh God, I was so happy to leave that world, because now I have this beautiful sense of like ownership of a cyber program that I didn't have in consulting, right? And the thing that's really powerful there is, and I had to learn consulting as another discipline too, because even though like my resume and my LinkedIn says Booz Allen, I spent like maybe a few months in the Booz Allen office. I was a government contractor. Like
Right.
my Booz Allen badge expired for 3 years and nobody cared because it was fine. I didn't use it. And like my paycheck said Booz Allen, but like I was in government the whole time. So like I didn't know anything about consulting, even though I was with Booz. And so I had to learn consulting too, which again, like was a discipline, not hard, sought out experts, like read books, figured it out, right?
Right.
And then I got to, and I became in management there a little bit, but I don't think I was an effective manager in consulting, but like that didn't matter because like I brought in money and like they didn't really care about that. So like about being an effective manager and a people leader, right? They were like, are you hitting your $6 million revenue target? Yes.
Right.
Great. Do you have a pipeline? Do you have a book of work? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
You
You're
do
good.
whatever the hell else you want. That's fine.
Right.
Just don't get us sued, right? Like don't
Right.
do like HR violations. And as long as you're bringing in revenue, you do you, right? Which is not really where you want to be. So I pivoted to industry, which was the third stage of my career. And that's where I was like, I got to learn industry now. Like, okay, this is weird. And I got to learn like really how to manage and lead people. Like, I don't think I was fully equipped for it. So I had some things to lead on in government and consulting, but not like significant. And so that was the thing that I realized very quickly. Like, I have a toolbox. I am missing a tool, and I need to have this tool to be successful. And that's when, programs like when Mike got the Sky team together, and I took the disc profile, and I was like, oh man, this tells me about myself and what I know about myself and how I think. Like you have revealed things about me I didn't even know. Like this is incredible. So, and then like that opened the kind of Pandora's box of like the idea of being in management, both like leading people and leading teams and like driving significant outcomes, is its own discipline. And when I approach it from that mentality of like it's its own technical discipline, that's when you like Eric and you Ruby, like I was like, you are the people that will impart knowledge on me. Like I'm ready to listen, I'm ready to learn, like I got to figure this out, right? Because I want to. And whether it's the same concept, and it is totally the same concept of like, I know Windows internals fundamentals, right? Because like that's what cyber folks know, right? Like I know the OSI stack. Like how did I learn that? Like I went to training, like I read books. Do I know how to lead a 100-person organization? I didn't. And I said, I got to read the book. I got to talk to the experts. Like I got to figure out this discipline. I got to know who's who of like the academia, like the luminaries in the academia of this particular discipline. And then I got to listen to them. I got to figure that out. Like that's the thing I got to do. And I always attribute it back to the growth mindset. And that's the thing that like is always central to my thinking. And
Like the Carol Dweck growth mindset idea.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that just proves like I've read up on all these authors, which like a couple of years ago I'd have been like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, but that was the thing. Like I sought out coaches and I saw these sessions and said, I have to learn from you all because you have a set of skills and experiences and you've been in rooms I have not. And so I come like ready to learn, ready to listen. And I want to absorb the expertise that you all have so that I can be better in my role as a manager, and I can be better as a people leader, and I can be better as a senior leader that is like responsible to achieve outcomes, like major business outcomes.
So not to diminish that at all. And I thank you for what you said. I'm ready to listen. These are the people who are going to impart wisdom. Ruby and I are like, we have to provide something of value to a guy who used to brief the president.
Yeah.
It's a little intimidating.
Yeah.
He used to tell the president, hey, this is the shit that's going down and this is what I think you ought to do. So, and now he's looking at me and Ruby and we're like, so here's your disc profile. But I want to build on something that you said because Lori made a comment about it in chat. And, you mentioned learning and talking about learning these disciplines at each stage of the career. Lori in chat said, desire for continuous learning is the hallmark of a great coachee. And it's so true. So Haris, like, when did this crystallize for you, as you got into industry and you're like, oh shit, I don't know how to do these things, that keeping that self-development, that continuous learning muscle flexed was important, and that doing it at the team level was something that you needed to do? Like, how did that spark go off for you?
Yeah, I think it was a slow burn, and then there were a couple of, like, I would say bigger flashes that were there. So the slow burn was like seeing really bad managers in action.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like what the someone obviously we won't go over the name of this individual, but like I used to this person used to be my skip level at a prior company.
Okay.
And I was very happy that this person was a skip level because I didn't want to like direct.
You don't have to deal with them every day.
Yeah, I'd have to deal with that person every day. So I was very happy for my boss to like kind of be a bit of a barrier because like I'd heard bad things and then like I had seen things that I was like, I don't like that. Like, just kind of like not necessarily not really listening to people, not leaning in, not engaging. Coming to conclusions very quickly, building a lot of like major decisions based on like very what I would call like unsubstantiated assumptions, and like just being like themselves like very hesitant to change and very hesitant to like be adaptive, particularly in like a very dynamic role and a dynamic industry like cybersecurity. So like I saw that and was like, ugh, that's icky. I don't like that. And then, of course, what happens in life, like my layer, like my protection layer, like was exited from the company for not providing value. And then suddenly like I'm on like, full exposure to said individual who I was like, ooh, I see more and I like even less. So like I saw that as like, gosh, like that is not how I feel good as an employee, and like something is wrong here, but then something is right in other parts of that organization. And so there were other folks in that group that were not directly in my tower that I was like, I love this guy. I want to work for this guy. Like I want to work like hard and like work nights and weekends because this guy is really inspiring the hell out of me. Or like the CISO, like she is phenomenal. Like I to this day still respect the hell out of her. Like I thought she was an incredible leader, and like I would have gone and done hard work on her behalf because she was so powerful and motivating, right? And she had such empathy, and she would listen, she would care. And I think the thing I liked about her was like she also had like a really hard edge too that would like sometimes come out. And like I don't know, maybe there's something sadistic about me, but like I actually liked it because like then you could see behind her layer of like corporate professionalism, like she was a geek and a nerd and she could tear people apart if she wanted to, right? And I think like I don't know, for some reason I respect the hell out of that because it's like, oh, like you like you're a SME, you know your stuff, and you can like rip somebody apart and actually rebuild them, but then like you choose and you have learned to like soften that edge, and it's more impactful. And I saw
that's the skill, right?
That's
intentionality.
Yeah. And so like the couple times where like she let her guard slip, I was like, oh man, she really is smart, and like she really knows her stuff, and like she can pick things apart. And then I saw her like with the corporate face on of like empowering the team to like help them find the right solution, but like not in a way that they felt bad, but in a way that they're like, oh my gosh, thank you for empowering us. Like now we feel even more motivated to solve the problem for you, kind of thing.
And that's a tricky balance, to be authentic in your intentionality as opposed to putting lipstick on the pig. And everybody knows that you're the hard ass that's speaking the speak of the book you just read. Right? So to show up authentically where you build trust and people want to be, you know, loyal and work hard to that is, you know, you have to be real about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And she was, and I remember very distinctly, like, there was an interesting conversation I had where I was like, look, like I'm at a fork in the road. Like I got to make a call. Like, you know, I'm going to make this call, like, and it's not the one I necessarily want, but I think it's the right one to make. And, you know, she was very gracious about it. So, and I respect her to this day. And if there was ever a chance, I would definitely work for her again. Right. I mean, I have no desire to leave. Like I love Capital One. Like I have drank the Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid tastes great.
I know what's in your wallet.
Yeah, that's right. That's actually one of the first things I did when I joined the company. I moved all my banking over to Capital One, and I said, if I'm going to be responsible for like helping secure this, I got to feel.
You got to put your money where your mouth is.
Put my money where my mouth is. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm a full customer. Yeah, all throughout, like checking, credit cards, etc. So, and so the idea was like I saw those things, and then I saw like really powerful leaders in action. And you know, there were others here at Capital One that like I saw in action. I was like, oh man, like I want to know how to do that. And so that's really like where the spark kicked off, where and even to this day, and you know, my boss Mike, like I've said this to him directly too, like I like the way he operates, and that's actually one of the reasons I asked to join his team, and he said yes. Because I didn't originally come in under him. Like I came in through another leader, and so I liked the way he operated. I liked the way he thought. And he had that same type of like, and he does, like he's a technical SME, and he has learned how to like coach and mentor people and bring them along on the journey. So I saw a lot of that and was like, oh man, like I want to figure out how to do that, because I have that like technical SME can tear you apart and then like rebuild your answer for you. But then like, I want to be able to do the other thing, because I've seen what it feels like to the team when the person has the ability to like, not just know what the hell they're talking about, but then like coach you and teach you in a way that like uplifts you and enables you and gets you more motivated. And so that felt like a super cool unlock and a super cool skill that I was like, okay, they have it. They couldn't have just come up with it. I'm seeing it multiple places. Like, who's got the secret tool? Like, someone's got it. We got to figure out where that is. So that was the thing that I looked for in the coaching.
That's a great segue to my next question, because one of my questions is, right, we work a lot. We're coaches. We work with coaches on the show. We talk to coaches all the time. So I'm super excited to ask this, right? As a consumer of coaching, what makes for a good coach from your user perspective?
Yeah.
Like what's your use case for a coach?
Yeah. It's a really hard one. And I think we were talking in the pre-show of like, I don't know how it was that I like started trusting you guys so quickly, but I did, and I love it. And I'm so glad I did.
What do you call us, Haris? What do you call Ruby and I?
You guys are my woobie. Yeah. My woobie. Yeah. Like it's the warm comfort blanket of like, I see you guys and I just think about like all the good, honest conversations and like how you guys have known me for the years now. And I just think like I'm among a safe group of friends of people who will tell me something uncomfortable that I don't want to hear. And they will say it and tell it to me because they care about me.
That's right.
And they'll tell me like and it's funny. This is how my brain operates, as you guys know. And they'll tell me the things I'm doing great too. And I'll be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about where there's opportunities. Yeah. Like, I don't need the pat on the back. Like, I need the
give me the gaps. Give me the gaps.
Yeah. Tell me about my opportunities, as they say here in Capital One. So like, we want to learn about the opportunities, like because I am always focused on what's next, what's coming. Like, tell me what's around the corner. How do I need to be ready for that? And that's the thing that I care about. So that's why I was drill in on the opportunities. But you guys have such a good balance of like, remind me of like, hey, like you made progress, done great stuff. Here's the things you got to fix next, and like how you got to concentrate on that. And I appreciate that. And I think what makes a good coach is some of the important, critical basics. Like they have to be a good listener, and they have to really connect what I see as like some of the tactical problems when I talk about like a specific scenario and a situation. And then they're very quickly able to like link it back to like, hey, well, that's a concept of like communication there. I think like you guys were solving for different problems at that stage, or like you were not on the same page in terms of like how you came to the table with information, or and that's the thing that you guys are so powerful with. Like there are so many different lenses by which you can help me see a situation in a different light, that every time I see it in a new lens, that almost becomes another tool in my toolbox that then like helps me look at a situation differently. And I had a really interesting situation recently where I introduced two groups that I knew really well, but then like the individuals did not know each other. And I wanted them to work together, and a bunch of folks wanted them to work together. It was a part of like a big strategy. And so one of the folks in the other group, the one that I know very well for many years, in my opinion, was like a little rude. And I got a little put off by it. And I was like, oh, like what the hell? Like, like I'm literally doing this person a favor. Like I'm bringing someone to the table who is saying like, you are my customer. I have ideas on what you need, but I want to hear you. And I want to figure out how I can make you more successful. And I put myself in that person's shoes and said, I would be so grateful and happy.
Right.
Like, this is awesome. Like, imagine this. Like I had nothing to do to this. And like somebody did this for me. Like that's a gift. And I thought about it and was like, I get the feeling this person's super rude. And like, I don't know why. And a previous version of me prior to coaching, and this is a classic A/B test, I would have shot back.
Right.
I would have like sent a note to that person. Exactly. I would have like lit up that person's manager and been like, this person was like totally off base, like was rude. Like I'm trying to help this person. And like, they're coming in hot and heavy, like asking a bunch of like very difficult, challenging questions and like questioning the effort a little bit. I'm like, this is not good. And there was even an interesting thing too, that I don't know exactly what part of the coaching for you guys it was, but like something deep down hit hard. And part of me asked myself, like, are you just trying to be a dick because you're
And that was me. Our one rule as a leader, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. That's right. And literally, like, I was like, before I did anything, I thought, like, am I just trying to be a dick? And like, am I taking it way too personal?
Right.
Or like, does this person have a rough day that they have had?
Yeah.
And like, this was just the last meeting and the last bit of their fuse. And like, the meeting agenda was like a little bit unclear. Like the pre-read was not that great. And so like, they're just kind of reacting to that. And like, should I really make a big deal about it or not? Right. And I had those like self-reflective moments. And then I thought like, yeah, I think I'm being butthurt about it. Like I should just let it go.
This is Haris 2.0.
Yeah,
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I did nothing. I wrote nothing. I sent nothing. I said nothing other than like what I'm relaying here today of like, I had that moment of reflection, be like, I'm going to give that person a pass because I don't know what they were doing. Yeah. And assuming the positive intent.
Right.
And, I think the perspective is like, if I see a repeated pattern, like I might have a conversation.
That's different. Right.
But I'm not expecting that. I am not expecting that. Like I'm expecting this person just had a rough day. And like when they come around and they see the value that one of my directs is going to bring them, they're going to be very happy with it. And they're going to be really pleased. So that was like a moment in action of like, okay, assume positive intent, like realize there's a knowledge gap here, like put yourself in that person's shoes. And then like, are you being a dick? You should just not be a dick. Like I literally said that. I was like washing the dishes and I was thinking about this moment. And then it was like, a voice popped in my head, and it was like, "Yeah, Haris, I think you're just being a dick. You gotta cool
That wasn't our voices.
Yeah, I don't know what voice it was. Yeah,
Welcome.
it's probably Eric's.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to the Haris Shawl testimonial of Sky Team Services. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, but it's real. Like it's real. And I
love
appreciate
that
it.
you illustrated that the pause, right? Because that's we're judgment making machines as humans. Like you can't not be that way, right? It's always going to come first. And if you develop the discipline used in a different way, right? Like the actual self-discipline to pause and ask a question, then you move into curiosity before judgment. And that always wins. Yeah. Maybe the person did need to be spoken to, but if you hadn't paused, you wouldn't have assessed it, right?
Yeah.
So
that's right.
And critical piece.
And the word you said is the thing that like is bouncing around in my head a lot, which is the idea of like the curiosity, right? Mm-hmm. And like people, you're telling yourself a story based on what you know, but you should be curious because you might be wrong. Right. And you should try to seek out the truth. Yeah. Imagine that. You might be wrong. Yeah.
And most of the time, we don't have all of the information, especially in those moments. Right? Yep.
That's the right answer.
That is the right answer. Yes. Yes. Totally right. So,
but our brains, and we talked about this in our team sessions with you, Haris, our brains don't like uncertainty, right? So we write the ending to that story because then we know where to file that piece of information. It makes it easier. The ambiguity is hard to deal with.
Yeah.
And requires more energy because being curious, you can't do passively.
Yeah.
That's an active thing, right? So, and a lot of times, I mean, I know what it's like at Capital One. Everybody's scheduled full. Everybody's running at 110% capacity plus. We don't often have the space, the mental space, the breathing space to take that step back and take that moment of breath for that assessment, like Lori said, to make a conscious choice. And, you know, Ruby and I preach from the gospel of intentionality all the time. I would much rather have you make an intentional choice to punch somebody in the face than to just do a thing that is part of a pattern that makes your life easier, that might make other people's lives harder.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can manifest that energy to take the breath and then make the choice like you did, that moment of self-reflection. Hey, I think I'm just being a dick right now, which means, all right, I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to say the thing or ask the question or, throw the stone. Right. I'm going to let that be for a minute. And what was your learning from that specific instance? Like you did that, you gave the breath, you gave the pass, and then what happened?
I mean, the progress continued unabated. Like, I think had I done something, like it probably would have disrupted the effort.
Right.
Like it would have probably set us back, which is the exact thing I didn't want to do. So, so that pause of like not doing something was actually, I would say, business enabling because the alignment that's going to be achieved with that project is a lot faster as a result of it. Right. And so that was the right thing to do, to pause. And I'm glad I did it. And I'm glad I got the coaching and the lenses by which to look at it, because I think the thing that I looked at was this person is a human. Above all, like we always have to remember that, like it's a human on the other end of the phone, on the other end of Zoom. And like, they got a full day too, they got, some of them have kids. They all got like things that they're bubbling around in their heads. So like give them that humanity. And one of the things that I did actually after one of the sessions that we had was during the 1010s, like, the weekly like one-on-ones that we would have with my team, I would start like maybe a random one. I wouldn't do it in a set order, just to check in like, hey, as a human being, how are you doing? I would ask that question. Right. And it like set a interesting, almost like a magic around the conversation to say like, oh, we're not just talking about work.
Yes.
We're not just talking about deliverables. Like, wait a second, like we are going to connect as humans. And the first couple times I did it, I was like, it sounds so awkward and it sounds so weird. And then I got into it, and like I started like approaching it almost as like a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. I was like, hey, how you doing as a human? Like, really, as a human being. And I said it with more confidence, and then people got more used to it, and people like responded in very unexpected ways.
Yeah, those are relationship changing questions. And I love what you said, right? I mean, yes, it feels weird and awkward, but so does anything new, right?
Yeah.
You know, you go to the gym and you look at that machine that you've never been on and you're like, I don't know how that works. And, you know, you get in it the first time and you're like, am I doing this right? Are people looking at me weird?
Right. Do I look stupid on this?
Yeah. But then you figure it out and it becomes muscle memory, right? Same goes here. We do these rituals in our meetings. And when we first started doing rituals like Ripples and Joys and stuff, I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I got to be vulnerable and
crabby.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah. We have work to do. Let's talk about work, right?
Exactly.
But to your point, Haris, it changes relationships. And that, as you know, from the Sky Team perspective, that's our jam. Relationships are currency, and they are the biggest influencer of happiness, engagement, and productivity. You've heard me say that dozens of times.
Yep.
Not only in work, but in life, right? Because we work more than we do anything else, except maybe sleep. And I don't even think that's true. Not for me anyway.
Amen to that.
So if we're spending such a large portion of our life doing a thing, why wouldn't we want to make it as awesome as we could?
Yeah, with people you enjoy spending time with.
Yes. You know, I'm fortunate. I have the best job in the world, and I get to do work with awesome people like you, and I get to do it alongside awesome people like Ruby. So super grateful for that opportunity. And we're able to watch people's journeys. You know, when we met you, you were a lowly senior director, and here you are, big money bags vice president of everything. But you know, we get to see that journey. And I know Ruby had a question about shifts. Ruby, do you want to ask Haris about these shifts?
Yeah. And I also have an observation connected to this shift. One of the things I always get interested in, like as Eric said, watching your journey and watching people that we work with as they grow and learn. And I'm kind of curious, just from your perspective, what's been your biggest shift or growth as a leader over the last year, and maybe what the impact of that is? But before you answer that, and it may be connected, what I highlighted this as you said it, when you were asking this question, as a human, how are you doing? You were asking them to be human. And when we do that, it brings that conversation down to a way different level. We're not in our heads anymore. We're kind of in our hearts and our bodies.
Yeah.
And I saw you actually show your human side a couple of times in the session that we did with you. So I think it's us giving space for others to be human, but us showing up as humans and really showing our heart. And there were a couple times where I saw you, and I don't think it was fully planned, where I saw you shift and show you're human. So I wanted to sort of acknowledge you for that. For your heart, that you're starting to show more and more from just what I've seen. But I'm curious, what's been your perspective on your biggest shift or change?
Yeah, I think there are two sides to the same coin, actually, right? And so, like, if I had to bubble it in together, like I remember thinking about this question a little bit ahead of time, and so I started with the idea of like, well, I'm trying to assume positive intent, and like I'm trying to like really understand like, why is this person like engaging in a certain way, and in a positive way or a negative way, right? Like the why around like this particular, like how this person shows up and how they interact and like how they're proposing, say, an initiative or like thinking about a problem, right? And so like that's the micro like shift that I did, and like just kind of getting curious. And then I realized like, oh man, like I forgot, like this is a human being with all this complexity and interest and history and background and experiences, and like positive baggage and negative baggage, right? Like, I guess we call positive baggage good experiences, right?
I like positive baggage.
Positive
baggage. I do too.
Well, because it still weighs on you, right? And it's still from a journey, and so like this is the person that like you have to understand, you have to see, right? And so like that was like the one side of the coin, and then the other side of the coin was the like, hey, it's okay to be weird. It's okay to like show yourself and to show your cards. And I got what was at the time I thought like really good advice, which was basically like never see him sweat and never let them see you sweat. Like be like the stiff upper lip and like be the you know, basically like the one that can handle it, the one that can take it, like the one that doesn't show anything beyond like what is like the corporate veil of like the mask that we're supposed to wear, right? And I got that feedback and I got that advice from a manager many, many years ago. And I thought it was true. And it's not. It's just not. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but like that person was wrong. And I have learned that because I have seen the unlock that you get when you come to work as a human being too. And like you look at other people as human beings as well. Because I pushed myself and I always thought of others as like machines that like have to produce outputs that then these groupings of outputs achieve outcomes, right? And that is like, that's a bonkers way to think about it. It's so crazy now that I like talk about it as like this was like my mental model. Like these are human beings. Like it's a collection of folks that are trying to do the right thing with imperfect information that are like bringing their like their histories and experiences to try to solve a problem together, right? To do a thing in a team. And like what that team has in terms of composition, like is a very human element to it, right? And like that has to always be indexed on. You always have to think about that. And that's the big shift that like really, I think was really what helped me at the macro level. And at the micro level, that was many things, like assuming the positive intent, asking the why, like, you know, making sure that I understand and like listen and clarify, like, you know, what I'm hearing. But it was the idea, like, yeah, there's another person on the other line, like they have their own complexities, perspectives. Like you got to be ready for those because then you're going to be a better person. And like, they're okay with you as well as a human being too. Like they're expecting that. So like I shared like all the strange stuff I'm into, like headphones and coffee and like drones and like, you know, telling personal stories about like, you know, my family and like my kid and like, you know, my like my wife and like all the crazy stuff I've done and like what that's felt like. And like that didn't come naturally to me for a long time. And like I had to really kind of like build that up. And I think when you have a little bit of like someone extends some trust to you, you have the first like time that you've been exposed to it. And then what happens is like you become like a realization of like, yeah, this is okay. And I can like really start owning this because like I did it in a test group and like you guys are cool. Like you still talk to me. Like we're not, you know, like we're still on good like terms. Like, so I'm not that strange and that's okay. And so like, I think that was the thing. Like you gave me that bit of confidence to say like, just be you. Yeah. There's no one else going to be like you. Yeah.
It's an element of the buzzword and the concept of psychological safety, right?
Yeah.
That I'm not going to be ridiculed for being strange or it's safe space to say I had a terrible weekend personally and I'm just really not at my best right now, right? Like so those kinds of things create space for people to just relax, to just it's okay. Yeah.
I think that's like been a big shift partially with the change of generations being leaders. Because when I first entered the workforce, it was, and also being in the South, I feel like it was very much not okay to really be yourself or show up. And if you did, it was kind of like maybe one or two people, and maybe like if you're a leader, you were really close, you could have that. But like socially, among the whole organization, it was like, you're here to do a job and we don't really give a rat's ass.
I was wondering where she was going to go with that.
You cleaned it up. You brought it up.
Fairly. probably
Like, why?
It's so true.
I showed up as myself. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Leah. Like it is, I have seen generations of leaders like embody that like Mad Men perfection. And then like what that actually kind of like feels like as an employee. And then like that was one of those things like I didn't want to be that. Like I thought it was a phony presentation anyway. Like you could see the holes in it. And so I tried to perpetuate it actually for a time, but like that's when I realized like this is harder than it should be. It takes more time and more effort. And like you're not really you can't be yourself, and so you can't bring your excellence. You can't bring your brilliance then, right? And so that's the thing that like really was the like, you know, that when the person said it to me, like, you know, have like a perfect image, like, you know, be that stiff upper lift, like then I realized like if I do that, you're gonna get like a portion of me and you're not gonna get my true value. So like there's more to me, and like you got to be okay with the weird parts that come with that.
And I think like we spend so much time at work, and think about like if you can't authentically show up as yourself, then like you're really just like not living your life at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Squashed into this little version of yourself.
Yeah. It's like, it's just like it almost feels like a lie. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how much more prophetic these conversations can get. What you just said, Leah and Haris, like if you can't show up as your authentic self to bring Leah's part of this quote, to punctuate it with Haris's quote, you're not going to get my brilliance. Like you're just not. You're going to get you're going to get a sliver of me. You're going to get a shell. You're going to get something less than. Being there as a full authentic human being for your people is a hard leadership lesson, and not everybody gets that. And, you know, Haris, I just got to say, it's been an honor to watch you step into that frame and take those things on and own them, right? Like good, bad, and ugly. That is an evolved leadership mindset that not a lot of people get to. And a lot of people that get there don't get there until late in their careers. And, you know, as you were talking about 9/11, and you're like, oh, I was in school and they let us go home early. I was like, oh, I was 30 and I had a baby. I'm feeling like I'm late in my career now.
I won't tell you where I was.
I know. Shut your mouth, Leah. Just Haris, Ruby just put in chat. I could talk to Haris all day. Seriously, like we're gonna have to do a part 2 to this conversation once you've had a year of VPing under your belt. I think.
Oh, man. I already got some gems of stories, guys. Like, I stepped on some landmines recently, and I could tell you, there's no faster way to learn.
Right.
Right. Definitely no faster way to learn. Yep. So and I will not step on that one twice.
So Haris, if people are listening to this and they're like, I like that dude, I would like to connect with them, how do we find you out there on the interwebs?
Yeah. So I'm fairly active on LinkedIn. Like I'll respond to DMs. So yeah, I think if you got something interesting you want to talk, just shoot me a DM on LinkedIn. Happy to reply there. Yeah.
Right on. And you know, if you guys want to know how awesome Sky Team is out in the wild, Haris is your guy. He'll tell you.
Yeah. But I think the only gripe I have is like, why can't I have multiple sessions with them a year?
Well, hey, you know what? We just need to plan for that. That's called budgetary planning cycle work. And
that's true.
Haris,
Thank
again,
you, Haris.
Thank you so much.
Guys. No, thank you. Thank you for being a part of my journey. So,
oh my God,
I appreciate it so much. And you know, when you think about like this is a view into like one person that you've made a difference for, there's likely tens of thousands that like you just are not hearing from that probably have better stories than mine. So thank you. Like, and you guys should feel really honored and you should feel really proud of the work you do because it does make a big impact.
Thank you.
Tears in my eyes. Thank you.
Yeah, we are so grateful to be able to do the work that we do. And, having done it for so long, there are leaders in my mind that stand out. And you're on that short list. So thank you for the work that you do and the intentionality that you show up with and just the desire to learn the thing and make it better.
Thank you. Yeah, that
awesome.
is a very high compliment. I appreciate that. So, and thanks for having me on the show today. Yeah, happy to come back whenever. We'll do it in a year. We'll see how things go.
Yeah. Let's get into our end of show ritual. And Haris, I know that maybe scooter time is over. So if you've got a boogie, feel free to boogie whenever. But we've got about 3 minutes of stuff to do, and it starts with funny things, stupid things from the internet that made Eric laugh. This is a picture of a dog stuck on a fence between some fabric and some chain link. And he says, I'm not going to lie, I could use your help, but I'm also aware of the fact that I got myself into this mess. And I can say that in my career arc history, I have felt like this little dog many, many times.
Like, how did I manage this?
Yeah. It's like there were a series of choices, which were the not right choices.
Right.
And at the same time, like, can you lend a hand?
Yeah. Help a brother out. I'm stuck here. This next one is funny to me because we do surveys all the time and we work a lot with technology companies and with people like Haris in cybersecurity. And we say, this survey is anonymous.
Yeah.
And people go, yeah, sure it is. This is 2 cats in this picture. It says from HR, yes, this survey is 100% anonymous. There's no way we can identify individuals. And then it has an angry cat looking at another cat. You see the back of its head and it says, my manager the next day.
Yeah, what those surveys cannot save you from is a small N number.
Yes.
They can truly be anonymous. And
but if there's only 6 of us.
yeah, exactly. Like, you're probably not going to escape that. Yeah.
This one made me laugh because I knew a kid who did this when I was a kid. It says, slept over at a kid's house when I was in 3rd grade, saw him pour milk into the bowl first, then cereal, never talked to again. Just discovered that he's in prison. Trust your instincts, folks.
That's right on.
Who pours milk? They're like those psychopaths that put on sock, shoe. That's not how you do it.
Okay, different perspective though.
Yes.
If you only have a little bit of milk, you pour your milk first so you know how much cereal to put in your bowl.
Amen.
See? Challenge the assumptions, Leah.
Yeah, Eric. Eric.
Yeah. I think there may be more people going to prison soon. See,
Leah, stay out of jail.
I'm on the watch list now.
Oh, today, the 8-year-old told me she deliberately spelled a word wrong in the last round of the school spelling bee because if you lose, you get a piece of candy, but if you win, you just get a boring medal.
Nice.
Accurate.
Yeah, so look out, Haris. 8. That's 4 years from now. So
I already feel like I get this, actually. I had to bribe her to come to my parents' house with like some snacks and some candy and stuff. And she's like, yeah, but like, I'm just going to get it anyway. Right.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, that's true.
That's
you
true.
are. Yeah.
That's true.
Checkmate. All right.
Check and mate. This next one. So I was a big fan of the Who Framed Roger Rabbit movie back in the late 80s.
Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, Jessica Rabbit, who's way out of my league. But, there was the evil villain in that movie. And this is a picture of Tom Brady, and the caption just killed me. Tom Brady dressed like he's going to go kill Roger Rabbit and the rest of Toontown.
That's funny.
But my favorite funny thing today, I love when storefront signs lights start to burn out. This is a shot of a men's warehouse that has just become Swearhouse. And if you know the Men's Warehouse tagline, you're going to like the way you look, you fucking bitch.
Oh man, that's awesome.
That is my favorite.
Well, in today's Good Feel story, I've got so much Ohio in my life right now. I couldn't resist putting this Steve Hartman story from Columbus, as Lori and I were just in Athens, Ohio last week, launching Grace on her freshman year of her adventure at Ohio U. So this is Steve doing Steve things. What a cool story this is.
While many are getting to the bottom of their summer reading lists, a new study finds that daily reading for enjoyment has declined by 40% over the last 20 years. That disheartening statistic, however, does not apply to the book lover Steve Hartman profiles in tonight's On the Road.
Ohio.
That's fun. Thanks for the nod to Ohio.
Yeah. I thought that was great. And, you know, as a person who I think I've consumed about 9 books in the last 3 months, and I picked it too because Haris he's a book nerd too, so I thought he would enjoy that, and he will when he sees it when we release it. My funny, stupid cocktail today. I love doing the cocktails because I always learn about weird shit that happens in the world that I wouldn't know about otherwise. This cocktail is called You Say Tomatina, I Say Tomatini. It's a riff on the Tomatini cocktail. You need 1 ounce and 3/4 of vodka. In this city in Spain, they've done this for 80 years. You need white balsamic vinegar for this cocktail. 120 tons of overripe tomatoes, 100 grams of ripe Campari tomatoes or tomatoes on the vine for this cocktail, 20,000 people in Spain, a little simple syrup, and it's the world's biggest food fight. They take these 120 tons of tomatoes and they throw them at each other. They smash them on each other. The only rule that they have here in this event is that you have to squish the tomato before you throw it to reduce impact.
So it doesn't hurt.
But you have 20,000 people rolling around in 120 tons of tomatoes. The pictures from this story were just hilarious.
Oh my
God.
God.
It is like picture like a like a Coors Field crowd all covered in tomatoes. That's what it looked like. And people doing, tomato angels, and it was crazy.
It'd be a bad day to be allergic to tomatoes.
Yes. Leave town.
And for those listening that are concerned about the waste of food product, the tomatoes, I learned, are specifically grown for this event and do not meet standards for human consumption. So they're not being wasted. They grow these tomatoes just to smash up and throw at each other because it's a thing that they do in that city in Spain. Looks like a good time. I don't love tomato drinks. I was with Lori playing golf a couple weeks ago, and our foursome pair went off to get us Bloody Marys, and they didn't ask or
I was like,
hear me.
he doesn't like those.
Oh, he doesn't like those. And
Well, I do.
So they brought one for me, and Lori's like, well, just try it because, maybe it's, different now. So I did. And then I made this face. Like, I will drink it because I don't want to be a rude bastard, but please don't make me drink it. But what I learned about this cocktail that I thought was interesting, because most tomato-based cocktails like Bloodies are savory cocktails. The vinegar and the simple bring out the sweet of the tomato. The vinegar cancels out the sour. So I might try it. It looks pretty.
It does look pretty.
But I'd rather roll around in tomatoes, I think.
I don't understand how they grow tomatoes that are not
Yeah.
Yeah.
safe for human consumption.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do they grow them?
And then also
Insane.
say that it's not wasteful. Like that.
Yeah.
None of that.
Okay, Leah, you
I
ruined the
agree.
milk thing and you're ruining the tomato thing. So take your analytical brain somewhere else.
No, I'm a C. I can't help it.
I was
One
just
to
gonna
know
say she's a C, just
Yeah.
like oh. Actually, Eric.
It makes sense though.
See how it feels, Eric?
Yeah, look, Leah, I just picked a funny story and mixed it with a cocktail. That's all I'm doing here.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you had a good time and learned a thing or two at today's happy hour, please share it with your friends. If you want to join our tribe, head on over to skyeteam.cloud/TCB or email us at info@skyeteam.com. That's SKYE team.com. Thanks again, and remember, you've always got friends at the Corporate Bartender.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Corporate Bartender. On this show, we talk with a lot of authors, speakers, coaches, and subject matter experts about the people side of business. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk to an amazing leader that actually uses the services our guests provide. We're calling this The Other Side of the Bar. We've got Haris Shawl on the program today. Haris is a client of ours, and he's a phenomenal leader. He's the VP of Cyber Product Management at Capital One. Haris strives to be a noble purpose leader and coach. He's self-aware. He knows how to leverage coaching and leadership development, and he refers to me and Ruby as his woobie. We do need to mention that the opinions expressed here on the show are his own and not those of any organization. It's a thing I say a lot these days, but man, this conversation is one of my favorites of 2025. We covered a lot of ground, shared some stories, and I just know you're going to dig it. So buckle up, TCBers, grab your favorite cocktail, and let's get right on into it with Haris Shawl on today's TCB, The Other Side of the Bar.